Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. We're going to review today a simpler financial reporting solution for visual users. All right, so today I'm going to walk you through a simple solution for visual users that will allow you to print financial statements real time, share them with other users of the organization very quickly, and also an app that provides very good insights and access to live data. My name is Valeria Vico. I'm a financial consultant with BMS 365, and I've been helping the visual community for the last 15 years. Fabian Zandomeni is our managing partner, and he is on the line as well if we need his help. So a couple of housekeeping items. Please type your questions on the GoToWebinar panel. I'll do my best to answer them after the presentation. And we are going to run a couple of polls, so just pay attention to the screen when that comes up. So we have, for the agenda, we have today a few interesting points. I'd like to touch base on the traditional approach of using the data we store in the ERP and how we transition to a data-driven model. We're going to review the eBoard app as well, different modules the app has, the upgrade process and new releases, and the new features. And I'm going to give you a live demonstration for those of you who haven't seen the app yet, or also this will serve as a little bit of training for those of you who already have the app. So the traditional approach has been focused on reports that are static and hard to modify. As you may know, for example, in visual, we have the report and the reports that you can print through the application and the QRPs that are basically the language or the technology used to modify those reports. Those reports are pretty difficult to modify or to change, and the approach there was basically to call an expert every time you needed to add a field or remove a field or change the formatting. There is basically on those reports restricted access to live data. You cannot drill down, or when you have to export to Excel, the data goes to a CSV file. And normally, the data needs to be gathered and processed every time a decision maker wants to see something interesting or something of importance to make a decision. So the C-level executives need to make the request and wait until the information is gathered. And because of that, assumptions play a significant role to basically speed up that decision-making process. We can't sometimes wait to have all the data available, so we just trust our intuition, we make assumptions, and that's how typically the decisions were or are still made these days. However, because of the advance in technology and the tools available in the market and the demand we see in the market, that old way is not working anymore. We need to create single source of truth. That means we need to trust our data. We need to basically have access to that data when we need it. We need to spend less time hunting that data. It has to be available. We need to expand insights across the department. We can't just leave the decision or the data gathering to one single department. These days, all the organization is has to be synchronized and looking at the same data from different angles to make the best decision. And we also need to create less work for the data administrator. the tools today allow for flexibility. So it's easier for the admin person, the IT people, to fix or change certain data or certain reports when you have one solution versus when they have to modify different reports that query probably the same data but from different angles. There is a very good book that it's recommended today. It's called Measure What Matters. That is a book that can give you some insights on what type of information you can now use or query or access in your ERP because actually all the information is in the ERP. We capture pretty much everything in visual. So we should be able to get to that data effectively and be able to measure what's important to your organization. This book is basically focused on how Google, the Gates organization or foundation were setting up OKRs, key objectives and key results to properly make effective and good decisions. So I would recommend that book if you can get it as well. So how do we transition to a data-driven culture? That is where the market is going. The data is the primary resource for insights across every department, so you can make smarter business decisions. So this replaces the decisions based on our intuition, our assumptions. The data is there, we should be able to use it. And executives should be able to access that data whenever they need it. So basically through the data-driven culture, we are instilling trust and commitment for all members in the organization to collaborate fluidly with transparency based on shared metrics with data at your fingertips. So that's basically looking at the same report from different departments. Everybody will bring added value or their insights to the table. So you will be able to make better informed decisions. And obviously you can use this approach to discover new trends. I've seen amazingly how organizations changed the products they were making to adapt to this COVID-19. Many of my clients had to shift production to start providing healthcare products, and to me that was amazing. That's a great adaptation to change, because we know change is hard, but if we embrace it and we let the employees know and the team knows that we're making our best to continue growing and the company having a strong company, a strong business, that is what people need to be motivated. So by having good data at your fingertips, that's what will allow you to embrace that change more often, quickly and effectively. So there are analytical tools that allow you to get insights, but not only that, you can also measure how you're acting on those insights through those that technology or through those metrics. So what are the benefits of a data-driven model? Well, I already spoke about a few of them, but making more confident decisions. So when you can better understand the impact of your decisions, you will be more confident making them. So if you can see, you can decide properly. Becoming more proactive, again, it's quite aligned with the previous one. When you can see, when you can look at trends, you can identify business opportunities where customer cycles are not working as you expected. or maybe you can identify weaknesses in your product lines, you can actually make good decisions and grow your company better just by maybe changing the way you are handling the customer base, or just dropping a product line that is not profitable. Awareness and transparency. We should keep everyone in the organization in the know, aware of company goals and customer satisfaction. So what are your metrics? What is the C-level executive team measuring so that they can grow the company? Answer the why. This is very important, and it applies to every area of every department, every area of the company. To gain basically a deeper insight of any point you want to make, you have to ask at least 5 times why. And I read that a while ago, and I try to use it pretty often, especially when I do consulting, because I need to understand if I need to change, if I need to help the client change the procedures or change maybe use a different functionality in visual, I need to understand why. And the effective way to do it is to ask it 5 times. So that you can apply that when you try to measure certain areas of your company as well. And also identify new revenues of growth. So having a data-driven model allows you to see opportunities again, see market trends, analyze your gross profit by customer, by product line, so you can maybe identify different areas that you could grow and offer products that you can offer to clients. So in terms of our solution, a simpler financial reporting solution that we're offering is focused on time savings and increased collaboration. So we are offering a reporting solution that allows you to easily create and share financial reports. So other departments or the executives don't have to wait for finance to generate a PDF file or to export to Excel or get the report. They can just log into one centralized application that allows them to see the financial reports real time. The solution also allows for real-time access even without knowing visual. So before, the only department that could possibly print a financial statement was finance, because they were the ones who had access to accounting window, who knew how to generate the report in visual. Now, this centralized tool allows people to access financial statements, review them on the screen, and also export them to Excel if they need to. And also, we're focusing on achieving data accuracy and providing insights to be aligned with that data-driven model. So the app, you will see that has audits, and we just added a set of dashboards that help you capture issues quickly, effectively, and provide good metrics for you to make better decisions. So what is eBoard? eBoard is the financial reporting app that has been exclusively developed for visual ERP users who are looking for an easy-to-use GL reporting tool. And I'm not talking only about finance, I'm talking about IT, who sometimes gets involved in the production of financial statements, and also executives who need to get access to that information quickly and real time. So it facilitates access to live financial data. It provides drill down capability to transaction details, and financial statements and data can be easily exported to Microsoft Excel in one click, because believe it or not, everybody loves Excel, right? And we have to have that feature in there. So who are the main users? Well, we have obviously the CFO, the controllers, the accounting department, and also IT, who are the people that probably are the best ones to design the reports, right? So to put together the report and review that information. So they have real-time visibility of financial information. They use it every day. You can export to Excel. You can create simple reports in no time, basically, and you can drill down to transaction details. Now, executives and decision makers are another big group of users here because they can print that financial report on demand whenever they need it without having to log into Visual or without even knowing how Visual works. There is no waiting time. Reports are available on demand, and you can turn on different versions of the reports. You can compare to budget, you can compare to previous years, and you can add a percent analysis as well. And then we have the internal customers, and this is another group of users that are increasing these days because of that need of collaboration. So we need other areas of the company to take care of their own budgets. For example, finance doesn't have sometimes the resources or the time to check if operations or if stores or even IT if they are over under their budget. So you can easily give access to a simple report with all the department's expenditure to that manager, and that person can do her own analysis, compare the budget to the actuals real time. So the eBoard has 4 modules now, as you can see. For those ones who have been using the app for a while, we added a new module. So typically the Finboard had 3 modules, the eBoard had 3 modules: Finboard, financial reports, and gross profit, and the financial audits. We just added this dashboard module now that allows you to create metrics and KPIs. In terms of system requirements, it's quite straightforward app to install. It needs a SQL Server, it needs the Microsoft.NET framework, and a Windows environment. It is multi-database, multi-site, and multi-currency as well. So you could print financial reports by company, by site, by currency. Those modules can be implemented separately. The dashboards, we are launching that new module. So for those of you who have the app, you can refresh or you can upgrade it. You will have that module available for some time on a trial mode if you would like to explore that functionality. There is real-time access to your company's financial statements. 3 reports come by default. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And there is no need to log into Visual. Although, if you want to make it easier to Visual users to access the app, you could actually link the app, embed the app into one of your Visual windows. It has an easy to use financial report builder. You need to just copy and paste GL accounts from your chart of accounts. I'm going to show you that in a minute as well. It is a time saver when performing account research and balance analysis. As I mentioned, other departments are now doing their own expenditure analysis and facilitating that task instead of waiting for finance to do it. And these reports, financial reports, are easy to share and with any other user in the organization. So in terms of new features, there is a single sign-on feature right now. So what that does is Instead of you having to enter your password every time you log into the app will remember your password, and it saves time when logging into it, basically. Or even if you connect the app to Visual, when you just click on that button, it will open up without requesting a password. The app now has charting capabilities on financial reports. So because the information is visible, you can easily see the trend of that account. So if you're analyzing an expense account, for example, you can see if it's increasing or decreasing over time. Same for revenue. You can see if your sales are up or down for a single month by having the information visually available. There are report templates now. So instead of starting from scratch, when you're building a report, you can use a report template. And I'll show you that as well. The General Ledger module, you can search by account ID instead of just printing all the GL for a given period. You can just print the GL activity for one specific account ID. There are new financial audits, and we have that new dashboard module that we're just launching this month. And if you have your own enhancement requests, I would encourage you to visit our website, bms365.com, and you can click on the customer portal that at the top there, and that will take you to a window like this, customer portal, where you can add a request or a case. So if you ever have an issue or you want to let us know about a feature that is important to you, please log it there so we can keep track of it and work on it. Typically, the enhancements are evaluated, basically. And if we come to the conclusion that it's going to help all of our or most of our users, then we will definitely incorporate that feature into the default functionality of the app. So I'd like to launch a poll now. Let's see if you can pay attention to the screen. 20% using visual and 30% spreadsheet. Perfect. All right, thanks so much. Okay, so let's review the eBoard app now. So what you see on the screen is the eBoard app. It has 4 modules now: eBoard, financial and manufacturing audits, gross profit, and the dashboards. The add-on module, for those of you who may inquire about that, is in case you have a customization, we typically use the same interface to deploy that. And then under the admin module is where we have the settings. So all we need is, as I mentioned, the server name and your database name. It's pretty easy to configure. And we have this new feature that is the single sign-on. If you ever want to activate that, obviously you need sysadmin to log into the app to do this, and for each user. And you need to click on that icon. You need your current Windows login, so you can get it by clicking on your current login right there. And all you need to do is remember that network login, click OK, and add a row. So here you enter your user ID or the user ID you're configuring, and then you just enter the network login right there. When you click Save, the app will remember your preferences, and the next time you log in, you don't have to enter the password anymore. The app already knows what the password is. And this is also useful for people who need sysadmin access to the app, but IT cannot share it because it is a company policy not to share the sysadmin password. So you could use this single sign-on to give a user sysadmin rights without giving that person the sysadmin password. So IT will configure these. The next time the user comes in here, they will be able to see everything that sysadmin is able to see without knowing the password, because that sysadmin password is now encrypted. Okay. The other functionality here under the admin is to check for updates. So that is basically the upgrade process that the app has. It's a very simple, straightforward process. You just need to check for updates, click the button, and the app will tell you if there is a new version available. So as you can see, there is a new version. I'm running one that is from a few weeks ago, probably. And all you need to do to process that upgrade is to click yes. The app will then download the files that it needs to, and it will go through the upgrade process by itself. And then when it will close, and once you log in again, you will be running the latest version. I'm going to say no now because I want to keep showing you the app. All right, so that's for the settings, the admin menu. And if you want information on the new releases, you can also check what has been added to what version right there. There is a list with enhancements or with features, new features there in the new release notes. All right, so going to the functionality, let's start with Finboard. Finboard has three main menus: financial reports, report builder, and general ledger. The financial report is what you see on the screen. It shows you the financial statements, real time, on demand, showing the information by fiscal year. You can print it showing the 12 months on the screen, only 3 months, or just 1 month at a time. I'm showing here the last 3 months based on June's cutoff date. You can include budgets. So for budgets, you need to see the budgets, you need to have budgets in visual. There is an assumption that I keep hearing that setting up budgets in visual is quite complex. It's not. If you ever need information on that, if you want to load budgets in visual, I can easily help you out. What is difficult or sometimes time consuming is to come up with a proper budget by GL account. I know that is the real work. But once you have that, I can or you can easily load that budget into visual and get a comparative report like the one you see on the screen. The app will show you the budget versus actual information. It calculates a variance, and I'm just showing the information collapsed here, meaning I'm showing only the higher level accounts. But if you want to see the details, you can expand each group or just unclick the button, right, the checkbox up there to show all the details, and you can drill down into the transactions to see the transactions. So drill down into the balance actually, and then you can see the transactions. So here you can see that there is a general journal entry, there is a receivable account, and if you want to see that invoice, for example, you can double click on it and see the actual AR invoice. So it's very effective. It takes you through the whole financial data cycle. So from the account balance, we go to the summary of postings, and from that posting, you can go to the actual transaction to see the details. All of these can be exported to Excel. So if you love Excel and if you want to just see the financial statements in Excel, you can just click on the Excel button, click Save, and now the information goes to Excel as you see it on the screen. Okay, taking a minute to open Excel. Here we go. Okay, so what we see on the screen goes to Excel. All right. So the drill down can also be sent to Excel. You can also drill down on year to date. So if you want to see the postings for the whole fiscal year up to this date, you can just drill down on the year to date column, and that will show you all the postings for that account for this period year to date. And now the new feature here. So what we added is visibility as a graphical mode to be able to see the account trends in a graphical mode. So what you see underneath there is the total revenue. That's where it's in the graph. And you can see the trend. You can see the total revenue versus the budget. And if you don't want to see both, you can only see accumulated values if you want, or you can turn on monthly values depending on what view is more useful to you. And you can keep adding accounts. So if you, instead of just seeing the summary, you may want to compare different sales for different products on the screen. So you can see which product is producing the most sales pretty easily instead of having to look at the numbers closely. So we think that this is a great enhancement as it provides greater visibility of the reported financial information. So that is for the viewer, for the report viewer. If we go to Report Builder now, the new feature here is this button that is called Report Templates. And for those of you who have not used the app yet, I'm going to show you how to create a report. So what we see on the left-hand side of the screen is the chart of accounts of the site that we are trying to build reports for. Underneath, we have account groups. Account groups are sub-reports that you can reuse in different financial reports. So instead of grabbing the same accounts every single time, it's more effective to create an account group, and then that account group can be used in multiple financial reports, multiple versions of financial reports. And then on the right-hand side is where we build the actual report. So in this case, I have a GP report by product line. You can see that I have the total. So the first component of a report, and this is important for those of you who have the app as well, is the first component of the report is the title. That is the first thing that users will see when you click on that financial report list. Okay, so if I go to the report list here, the users see the title of the report, which is what you enter on the first line of the design of the report. And then we have the first total. The first total is the most important total in the report, so that's the aggregate total. And then we have subtotals. So in this case, the GP total for product 1 and GP for product line 2. And then underneath we have more groups. In this particular case, we have total revenue for product line 1 and total COGS for product line 1. Then the same categories are repeated for the other GP line. Okay. And all you need to do, once you have those main totals and subtotals, all you need to do is get to the chart of accounts and copy accounts over. Or you could use one of the account groups that you built previously under the account group section. Okay, so let's build one report. And using the new feature, you can always start from scratch, start building a new income statement or a new balance sheet. But to facilitate the report building process, we created some report templates. I have 3 loaded here in my demo, and I can start by, for example, using the this income statement template, GP line it's called. So I'm going to clone that, and as you can see, the app brought over the main subtotals. So all I need to do is go to the chart of accounts and grab the accounts I need. So let's change the title first. And in order to change the features or the configuration, you need to right click so that we can enable the secondary menu there gets enabled. So I'm going to rename that account title. I'm going to say this is an income statement, June 25th, 2020. So we can easily find it when we go to the report viewer. And now I already have the subtotal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just search for sales accounts on the chart of accounts. I'm going to grab a few of them and I'm going to copy. So you may notice that you may have noticed that I have the total revenue selected on the design screen, and then I'm going to select the sales account on the chart of accounts, and then I copy. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with the COGS accounts. So there are lots of COGS accounts here. I'm going to select a few, make sure the COGS is selected here, and copy. Okay, so that's all you need to do. And then for operating expenses, there's always a marketing department in every company, so I'm gonna copy those. Okay, so that's the report. We save it. I can also use these total revenue account, for example, to calculate the percentage analysis, to enable the percentage analysis. I could use any of the groups. So in order to do that, I highlight the base account, which is my base for the percentage analysis, and I click that flag there, and I save it. Okay. Then I'm going to go to the report viewer. I'm going to click on reports list, and I should be able to find it. It's right here. And I'm going to deploy that. And you can see that I have drill down capabilities. That's my report. I have some budget figures here, and it calculated the percentages. I can drill down, same as I did on the previous report, all the way to the invoice. Okay. And I can chart this if I want. So I want to see, sales for domestic and furniture. So which one is producing more sales? You can easily see it here. Okay, so that's basically how Report Builder, Report Viewer works. I'm going to show you the General Ledger and the new enhancement here. And this has been applied, I think not in the latest one, but maybe in the previous release, is to be able to filter or to generate the General Ledger report by GL account. So instead of having to print all the GL entirely and then filter in one of the columns, we're now giving you the ability to just generate the GL report for one specific account. Okay, so this tab has three main, or this menu, this module has three main tabs here. The General Ledger Summary, this shows the postings by account, by batch. Then another view of just the batches that were generated. So this is useful if you need to find sometimes a $0 batch or a specific batch amount that you know what it is. You can search here. And then we have the details. This is the most used screen when we inquire the GL. This is like the accounting window, general ledger or general journal report, but in one single screen. So what you can do here is you can group by, right? And you can see the different types of batches very quickly, very easily. You can actually search. So if I need information that is related to one specific product or customer, for example, I'm gonna just type eBoard there, which is this particular customer. So now it gathered all the information for that customer, and this is posted information. So if you're looking for a customer order posting for a specific customer ID or cost of goods sold, for example, very interesting. So now you can see it, you can narrow down that GL activity by any type of data, basically. You just need to know what to search. Like, you need to be able to ask the app the right question, basically. That's what it is. And in here, you can see all the postings. You can do your financial analysis. If you have a tax audit, for example, that you need to provide financial information for not only one fiscal year, but 3 fiscal years. So now you have this module that you can easily export to Excel and give that auditor or that person inquiring for information just an Excel file. And you know that that should be sufficient there. Okay, and if I want to just search for one account, I'm going to, for example, copy this and paste it there. So now I refresh, and the app is going to show me only the postings for that specific account. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the financial audits. So the financial audits it's a module that allows you to capture inconsistencies, basically, on different areas of the system. One is the PO accrual, another one is the AP, so payables, receivables, cash. We have some manufacturing audits, and we have this audit editor that allows you to add any script. So if you have a specific if you're using the system in a way that maybe the audit don't have that specific query, you can add the script through the audit editor. So let's start by reviewing the PO accrual. That is a module that allows you to reconcile the purchase receipt accrual. It has the reconciliation tab as well as the PO accrual subledger that you can import from Visual. You could do that if you want. But if you're just looking for inconsistencies, running the audit, if you run all the audits here, you can see that the app will go through about 32 scripts, and it will help you capture inconsistencies. In this particular case, there is an unposted transaction that is causing the discrepancy on the PO accrual subledger. Every step on the audit have an explanation on the right-hand side of the screen and a corrective action. So it suggests where the issue may be coming from and also how to fix it. So for example, if we have unposted transactions, pretty straightforward. You just need to post that transaction, but obviously if we cannot see it, we don't know what to do, right? So the app will help you see that inconsistency and act on it. Okay, so there are lots of audits here. The same principle applies to the AP audits. You just need to enter the posting time, the posting period you want to audit and run. Okay, so it's going to go through a group of audits, a group of scripts that will help you capture inconsistencies on the payable side. So again, there is an explanation and a corrective action for each type of audits and results you get. Okay, all these results can be exported to Excel if you need to share it with somebody else who doesn't have access to the app. The AP audit has also a view of all the payables posted through the payable module in Visual. So what you could do here, you could quickly create your own report. So the other day, a user was asking me on how to get a report for vendors by vendor to know how much they paid to them. And if you go in Visual through the payable side, you don't get the details of the part IDs that you purchased. So, and if you go to the purchasing module, you're missing some purchases that you made without POs. So these modules sort of consolidates all that information and allows you to quickly group the information, in this case by vendor name, for example, if you don't want to go by ID. Sometimes people like to go by name. It's easier to recognize, and then you can click on that little thumb symbol, and you can sum the information right there. So you can quickly have a report that tells you how much you paid. And then if you want to do it by voucher GL account, so the GL that you used at the voucher level, for example, you can add, this is the description, you can add that voucher GL account. And so in this case, you have a total by freight and a total by accrual. So if it's an accrual, so you know that the purchases were made through the purchasing module. So you can easily see the part IDs that you bought. Okay, so you can create your own reports on the fly here to audit the information however you need it on the payable side. Receivables, it works very similarly. We need to enter the posting date and run the audits. Again, it shows a group of audits that will help you capture anomalies with an explanation and corrective action. Cash analysis works similarly, but in this case, it goes by bank account. So you enter the posting date, start and ending date, and then you select the bank account you want to audit or review. You can include or exclude unclear checks as well. And here you can do the same, you can build the same type of reports that I just showed you on payables. So we can group the information by vendor, for example, and you can see you can add to the column to get an amount. You can easily add the GL expense, the voucher GL expense, to see if it's a PO accrual, so if it's a part or if it's a different type of account. And so you can easily get useful information that way. If you don't want to go by vendor, you prefer to go by GL account, for example, all you need to do is just grab that, and then you get a short list or a report that tells you how much you spent for each category. All right, so that's for cash analysis. It also shows you the cash receipt, and that helps you quickly see if the money you are receiving covers the money you're spending. Oops, we are not in this case, but anyway. And then we have some manufacturing audits. And manufacturing audits, for those of you who have the inventory app, this is a similar module of audits that you see on that app, on the inventory app. But because the users may be different, we thought it would be a good idea to add it to the eBoard as well. So this set of scripts will help you capture anomalies in the manufacturing area, like negative quantity at the location level, costed quantity issues, transactions without distribution. So there are a lot of work orders closed short. I see those all the time. And there are about 28 audits by default. And then those ones that have a star, those have been built with the audit editor. So that's the next module I just wanted to quickly show you. It is the module that allows you to build your own query. So for example, if I want to capture the product codes in this case, and I added it to the manufacturing audits. So you can quickly, if you know SQL, the SQL language, you can quickly create a script there and publish it through the audits. So AP last paid. I wanted to see when was the last time we paid each invoice. So I added that to the payable audits. Okay, so that's a very simple way to create scripts and share them with other users in the organization. Remember, the principle here is to be data-driven, so everybody's looking at the same screen. We avoid the question of why or who said that or where did that come from. So now we know we're reading the same data, and everybody is confident that the data is coming from the same place. All right, so the gross profit module is the module that allows you to slice and dice sales and cost of goods sold information. And it has a data warehouse behind the scenes, so the data is been stored in a data warehouse and then pulled from there. You just need to run the process to do the data mining, to pull the information from visual, and once it's in here, you can do your own analysis. So in this particular case, for example, let's review the January to April 2018. That's the period I have data in this database. So all you need to do is select that time frame and click refresh. Once we click refresh, we have 3 views actually that get enabled. So the summary is all the periods that we have gathered from visual. The pivot view is showing the information of the data for the time range that we selected at the top. And in here, we can drag and drop fields from the right-hand side. So I can say, well, show me this gross profit that I have it by part ID, show it to me by customer ID. Okay, so it's going to show me that information. If in this case, I'm reporting 3 periods here at the top, so I can see the evolution, I can see the trend, I can capture the outliers. That's the main, I think that's one of the main useful features here. You can see if certain customer orders in this case, or certain customers or certain parts are not really making the profit that you hoped. So you can slice and dice the information that way. And the other great feature here is that you can create views. So you don't have to drag and drop these fields every single time. Once you know your view, once you know what you want to measure or how you want to measure, you just save the view and you can load it the next time you come to the app. So if I want to see the GP by part, I load that view on the screen. I don't have to rebuild it. Okay, so this is GP by customer. So you can create your own combination of data and then start measuring your GP, your gross profit that way. And if you need more, if you or if you are if you'd like to see all the data in one screen, we can use these gross profit details. This one shows all the information for every single sales order that shipped within this time frame. So in here you can group by, you can filter by any information, by part ID, by customer ID. You can group by to get your own reports. So this is the amount of sales and cost for that particular customer. And now if I want to see by part ID, I can drag and drop and now have a report by part ID, and I can see what that customer is buying. And I can see how much money I'm making through that view. Is this part profitable or not? And I can also change these by just doing it by part ID now. I can analyze the profit by product line, or I can do it by product code, right? And within that product code, which part is the most profitable? So lots of insights, but the main purpose here is to, now you have access to the information. We have to start defining what we are measuring, how we're measuring, what we want to get out of it, and then do it every single time, like systematize that analysis. And that's how we basically improve. And now the new feature is the dashboard. So we have so far 4 dashboards that we have prepared. And one of them is related to cash flow, another one for operations, another one for sales, another one for user metrics. So just these are generic things, but you are able to basically create your own or add your own metrics to these windows. So that is when you promote basically collaboration. If everybody is looking at the same metrics, then everybody can work towards that goal. For example, cash flow is one operation. So here on the cash flow, we have projected shipments, so what's coming in dollar value, projected PO receipts, so how much I'm going to have to pay, what's the account balance, how much money do I have in the bank, how much money do I have to pay in labor. So far, those are the 4 that we put there. In operations, we have work in process by product code. So what is the plant working on? Okay, so it's working on things that don't have a product code. Oops, we have to go back and see what are those, what those work orders are. Everything should have a product code, right? And then the value for the other product line. So what the shop floor is working on, how much work in process I have, and what are the hours by resource ID that have been entered so far, and what are the customer orders, sales by sales rep. I have a few more below there. Open POs, overdue purchase orders, amount paid to vendors, amount received from customers, sorry. In sales, we have the trailing 12 months. Many people ask for this. So how are my sales doing over time? Not necessarily this fiscal year. I want to see the whole, the trailing for the 12 months. Sales by fiscal year. We can set up target. So in this case, it's sales target versus actual. Sales by warehouse or territory, or you can change this metric however you need it. Sales by customer, sales by currency. amount due by customer, AR aging by month. So remember, these are coming directly from visual. All the information is gathered. All you need to do is just get the team, look at the same metric, and set up a plan behind it. And then we have these user metrics. And I thought this is very interesting because many visual people say, hey, Valeria, what is the effective size of the accounting department, for example? Well, it depends. How many invoices do you process? Right? I don't know. Well, you need to know what is the volume? How much or how many invoices can a payable person process each day? And that will what's your volume? Then you just project that, and you can determine easily how many people you need in finance to process payables. Same for POs, for purchasing, or sales orders, receivables. So this I thought is a very interesting, especially when you deal with capacity issues, when you need to expand your department or make decisions that way. All right, so I'm going to launch one more poll, and we'll wrap it up after that. Okay, great. Thanks for answering that. So 25% are concerned about data accuracy, 38% visibility, and if there is a tie with the inventory reconciliation, and then 25% generating and sharing financial reports. Okay. Inventory reconciliation is another area that I love to teach and to help. It shouldn't be difficult to improve on that. It's just a systematic approach that we need. So if you ever need help with that, just don't hesitate to reach out. We have amazing tools for that. All right, well, thanks very much for answering that. So the main idea here is to provide tools that help you transition to the data-driven world, which is where everything is going. We can't depend on canned reports or static information or wait for someone else to give us what we need to make a decision, right? So that's the main point. It's very easy to create a report through the financial app, and we have the report viewer there on the screen. We have the sub-ledgers, the gross profit, and the dashboards. I think that's a great addition to the app. And so why eBoard? eBoard provides a strategic advantage that allows you to effectively use the data stored in your ERP to increase visibility, perform operation analysis, and guide your executive team on the decision-making process. So I see these days I hear a lot about finance is now like a partner of the executive team in, guiding executives in making the best decision possible. So finance needs better tools, and the organization needs better tools too. So it improves data accuracy as well because it's is audit driven. We help you audit different areas of the system to fix issues promptly, quickly, effectively. And it is a proven effective tool. It has been used for quite many users that are taking a lot of advantage of this to empower other visual users to use the data to do their own analysis, to keep expenditure under control, to keep costs under control, to measure actual versus budgets. So it is a well-received tool. We have other apps available as well to solve other type of issues. And if you want to get a free trial of the app today, if you don't have it, you could actually text a number now, text to us at 604-888-3194 if you want to download a trial yourself, you can email us, or you can just visit the website. Or you're more than welcome to try it for free with your own data. Again, my name is Valeria Vico. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to just wait on the line to see if there are questions